Hi there, welcome to That Board Game Show. My name is James Wood, and today I'm going to show you Tiny Epic Pirates, a game of high seas adventure for 1 to 4 players, designed by Scott Almes and published by Gamelyn Games.
Rain hits your face as your ship rocks back from the power of cannonballs connected with your bow. You catch the eye of a crew member as she falls from the rigging to the deck. Fire! You yell above the roar of the chaos. All you'll need is a favorable wind to be free of the persistent navy. Prepare yourself to embark on an epic adventure. Sail in the seas for goods, gold, and glory.
I am going to show you the solo mode for Tiny Epic Pirates today, and that should also give you a pretty good sense of how the multiplayer game plays out, because in the solo game, you play against an AI pirate who basically does very similar things to what another player would be doing at the table. The general premise of the game is a race. You are attempting to sail around this map, which is made up of lots of individual cards, which is how they fit this huge map into this tiny little box by putting all the map tiles onto cards, so you can have a varied different setup every time you play. So you're going to be sailing around this vast map, and you're going to be exploring different locations. You're going to be fighting merchants. You're going to be fighting the other pirates at the table, in this case just the AI solo pirate. In a multiplayer game you can attack the other players. You're going to be hiring crew to make your ship better. You are going to be trading at various ports, and you're going to be plundering different little villages along the way to get more loot to then go sell, to gather loads and loads of plunder, which is represented by your gold tracker, which has these awesome little metal coins to represent how much gold you have. As soon as you have 12 or 13 gold, you will see that you have these spaces on the map with the treasure chests. You can then go and bury your treasure. You will take one of your treasure chests off your board, place it over that space, thereby blocking it off from other players being able to bury treasure there. And then, when a player has buried their third chest, that will trigger the end of the game, at which point you will play out the round so that everyone has had an equal number of turns. And if the person who buried their third chest is the only player to have done so, they win the game. Otherwise, you go to some tiebreakers. So that is the quick and dirty overview. Now let's dive in, and I will just play out several turns and show you how the game plays, and specifically how the AI solo pirate works. Today I am playing against Captain Jack, who is notorious. There are multiples of these. You will see I've got this Captain mat in front of me, and then we have more off to the side. And on the back of each mat, you've got Blackbeard, Madam Drake, Captain Jack, and then there's one on the other side of this as well. And on the other side of your legend track, of which there are 2 more, you have more AI pirates. Greedy, fearless, notorious, and 1 more on the other side of this. So again, huge variability right out the box. And basically the core of the game here is a rondel system. What that means is each player has their little pirate ship wheel over here, and you're going to take your captain meeple, and you're going to place them on the next space clockwise and take that action. So the first action I can do, I'm just going to go around my map clockwise. I can explore. So I put my captain on this explore symbol. That now represents the order that my captain, Captain Vera Locke, is giving the crew to set sail. You'll see I have no crew cards here. We can recruit more crew as the game goes, but it just goes without saying that you have some crew on your board. These are just more specialized crew members that you can bring onto your ship's crew. And you will notice that the wheel over here on the solo pirate is a different configuration, because each of these little spaces is a loose triangle piece. So every time you play, you will shuffle these up and deal them out randomly, thereby giving you a different order in which your actions will show up every time you play. So this explore action that I've just taken is the command I'm going to give. Now there's a specific order of play that we have to honor. First, you choose your command that you're going to do. Then you may sail your ship. You then execute your command, and then your turn is over. So I have chosen to explore. I may now sail my ship. I am the red ship up in the corner over here. You will see that we all have some starting loot, some starting booty, they call it. The merchant ships, these little orange and green ships over here, you'll see how they come into play as the game progresses. They start with some booty on them, and our solo pirate over here in the corner also starts with some booty. So I can now sail my ship up to currently 2 spaces. I have one on my pirate legend mat over here. This little marker indicates the current level that my pirate is at. I'm currently a sea dog, arg. And I have 1 crew member in rigging down over here. So these 3 crew members you can shuffle around into different positions as the game goes, and they will give you different bonuses depending on where they are. So in this case, with a crew member in rigging and my sea dog pirate level, I have a movement of 2. So I may move my pirate ship 2 spaces. And I'm not actually going to move it right now because I'm quite happy with where I am. I'm going to leave my pirate ship right where they are. So I'm going to forego the movement. The movement is optional. And I'm going to simply explore. When you explore, you will see we have these little spyglass markers on the board. There's some more in the box to, again, bring some variability. So these will be shuffled up and distributed at random every time. I will reveal one on the tile that I'm at, and I will get the depicted bonus. In this case, 2 coins. So now I will move my pirate track up 2 to indicate that I now have 3 gold. Every player starts with 1 gold at the beginning of the game, and when playing against the solo pirate, they start with 0, because they have pretty easy ways of getting gold. You'll see how that works shortly. This token simply gets discarded back to the box once you're done with it. And that is the end of my turn. So that was the first of 6 possible actions that you can do in the game. Now we will move over to the solo pirate. And how the solo pirate takes turns is we will roll one of these dice, which in the multiplayer game are only used for combat. We will roll one, and whatever number comes up will determine what action the solo pirate wants to do. So we've rolled a 4. So he wants to get his captain meeple all the way over to this attack action here, represented by the 4 on his wheel. Now, you saw I just went 1 space clockwise. You can skip over spaces, and the solo pirate will always do so. The way you skip over places is you take your crew meeples and you place them on the spaces that you want to skip. So now you can skip over those 3 actions and jump straight to the action you want to do. So that can be a very useful thing to be able to say, you know, I don't need to explore now. Let's say you're on a space where there's nothing to explore. There's no benefit to doing the explore action and you want to skip over that. You simply take one of your crew, put them on that space, and then you can skip ahead. However, you are giving up a bonus, one of these bonuses down at the bottom here. So the solo pirate will always do that. He will always skip over every space he can to get as close to the number rolled as possible. If he had rolled, for instance, a 5, let's say he had rolled 5, then he wouldn't have been able to get all the way there. He would have put meeples covering spaces until he got to the closest he can to that space. Now we will resolve his movement, and you will see on his wheel that there are different ships at the different spots on his wheel. So he will now move towards the green merchant, and the way movement works for the AI is they will always move vertical until they are in line with their target, and then they will move horizontal until they get to it. Anytime you see this gray ship, which is on their notorious board over here, and on these 5, 3, and 1 spaces, that indicates the player color. So that means that they will sail directly towards the player's ship. In this instance, we rolled 4, so he will move towards green. He has a base move of 1, plus 1 for any crew in his rigging over here, which he has none because he skipped over that. He is doing the attack action, so we look up here at the top of his mat here, and he's got this little bonus, which shows that he gets plus 1 movement when attacking, and he gets 1 automatic hit. So he has 2 movement, which isn't quite enough to get to that merchant, so he will sail 1, 2, and his turn is done. Had he been able to reach this green merchant, then he would have attacked them and rolled 2 dice, and he would have got hits for any of these numbers at the top here. So as Captain Jack, he hits on a 1, 2, and a 3. And then you factor in any bonuses, so he gets an automatic hit when he does the attack action, and he gets bonus attacks from any crew on his board down here. He did not reach the green merchant, so he doesn't do his action, and play comes back to me. Pull that out, and now I can choose. Do I want to skip over any actions, or do I want to just do the next action clockwise? I'm just going to do the next action clockwise because I want to show you how all the different actions work. So my next action clockwise is the crew up action. I will place my captain meeple on that marker. Again, I may choose to sail my ship if I want. When you crew up, you can come here and you take any one of these face-up crew members. If, for any reason, you don't like the 3 face-up cards that are available to you, you may spend 1 gold to discard all 3 and reveal 3 new ones from the deck. Right now, I'm just going to work with what's out there. So with Captain Veralock, I hit when I attack on a 4, a 5, or a 6. So now I have a choice to make. Do I want to double down on a number, like if I take Ursula Bane or Pale Pim over there? They will both hit on 6s, which means for every 6 I roll, I will deal 2 damage. Or I could spread out and go for Sarah Silver over here, who will give me 2 hits on every 2 I roll, which is giving me more range of hits. So I'll hit on a 2, a 4, a 5, and a 6. They also give you various bonuses, which I will explain shortly, and I just realized that I missed an opportunity to explain a bonus earlier. I did the explore action, so maybe I would have moved my ship. I'm just going to rewind my turn. On my last turn, I explored. After doing your main action, you trigger any crew bonuses that you have. In this case, my captain triggers a bonus on explore. The first bonus is to bury treasure, so that's the only way for her to bury treasure once I've got 12 or 13. If I'm on a map tile with 12 or 13 gold on it, I can use my explore action bonus to bury that treasure. And then she will plunder. And plunder means to take random cubes out of the bag here onto your ship. You go loot a little village. So in that case, I would have been smart to sail my ship, say, over here, and plunder over here. I would have got a free booty on my ship. As it is, I'm just going to forego that because things have changed, the solar pirates moved, etc. I'm not going to mess with those things right now. But that does play into which crew you take. So if I were to take Pale Pim over here, I would get this bonus whenever I explored as well. So I'd get 2 bonus actions. Now, the crew actions you can do in any order. If you've got multiple crew down here that trigger off the same main action, you can do them in any order. But you always do your captain's bonus action first. So Pale Pim's bonus action over here is to exchange 1 booty on your ship with any booty of your choice from the bag, which is rather useful. Or Ursula Bane over here allows you to do an extra move action after you do any attack actions. Also quite useful, because remember, you declare your action, then you move, then you do the main action. So this lets you do another move after you've done that initial main action. And then Sarah Silver over here lets you attack each time you trade. So I think I'm going to go for her. That looks like a fun thing. It's going to trigger off some more bonuses. I've got a trade action still coming up. So I put her on my crew. Captain Vera Locke goes and recruits Sarah Silver from some way. Maybe she's nicked her off the merchant ship over there. And we reveal a new one. And that is the end of my turn. I am done. Play proceeds to the solo pirate, who will roll a die and get a 5, so they will simply move 1 space. And they will now trade. So when the solo pirate trades, they automatically trade all goods of the highest value that they are currently holding. So they are currently holding 1 rum, which is worth 3 money at the market. So they will trade that 1 rum. That will go back in the bag. They will gain 3 gold, cha-ching. And then the market will shift around because now there's less demand for rum because some has just been put into the market. And therefore the value of rum has decreased. When a player trades, you have to be on a trade post. Like for instance here, you see there's a purple square there, purple there. Those are the 2 places that a player could trade rum. I am carrying this gunpowder, so for me to trade, I would have to sail down to a space that wants gunpowder, which is over here. And there should be another one on the map. Where is it? There it is. Okay, so the other gunpowder is there. And you can also find them by the color of the village on that map. So here's a little town with all the black roofs. Those are the places that buy gunpowder. Town with purple roofs buy rum. The towns with brown roofs over here, they want coffee. And then these 2 with the gray roofs want sugarcane, or sugar. Okay, so he has traded, but first he moves. So he would have moved 1 space vertical and then 1 space over. Then he would have traded. And now the bonus action that he has, so this is what simulates him having crew here, because you see he doesn't have a captain card like I do. And there are multiples of these captain cards, by the way, and they are all double-sided as well. So again, there's a huge amount of variability there. So his bonuses here, in lieu of having a captain card, because this basically is his captain card, is he will attack after he trades. So he sailed, he traded, I was the target because of the grey ship there. He will now attack me. And how it works when 2 pirates attack each other is they both roll however many dice they have available to them. In this case, he has 2 dice, and I have 2 dice. As I go up this pirate legend track, I gain more, and as he buries his treasure, he gains more. So for now, he's rolling 2 dice, and he gets a 4 and a 5, which is absolutely bubkus. So that is 0 hits from him, because he has no one on his rigging down here. And this automatic hit only triggers when his captain is on the attack action. So I now roll 2 dice, and I get 2 6s, so that is 2 hits, plus 1 over here, that is 3 hits for me, because I get hits on 6s with my captain. So my 3 beats his 0, which means what happens when you beat the solo pirate, he is jostled. And now this is the first time we've seen how jostling works. So what jostling means is your ship gets beaten about and thrown around. And typically, as a player, if you sail through any of these storm locations, we've got 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, and 1 there, that would require you to be jostled. And when you're jostled, the solo pirate ignores the storms, by the way. You take any one of your crew and you put them into the repair section of your mat. Basically sending them off from whatever job they were doing to go tighten down the ropes and batten down the hatches and a whole bunch of nautical terms that I don't understand. With the solo pirate, they simply take the rightmost crew member, or if they're all on their wheel already, they will take the rightmost member from their wheel and place them into repair. Basically, all that's doing is limiting their ability to move around. And mainly what it's actually doing is removing them from these bonuses. Because the solo pirate will always skip over spaces, even taking them from repair if able. A player, if all your crew members are on your wheel and you, for instance, sail through a storm, you cannot actually sail into that storm unless you've got at least 1 crew member down here to send into repair. So the jostling rules are a little bit different for the solo pirate. Be that as it may, he has now been jostled. He moves to the closest empty cove, and a cove is the spaces we started on, any space with this little anchor symbol. There's one there, there's one down here, there's one here. Technically, I think I'm still in that cove because I haven't moved anywhere since the start of the game. I've just been scouting out the land and hiring some crew. So he can't go there. So he will go to the closest empty cove, which would be this one over here. And when I beat the solo pirate, he gains 1 gold. He snipes 1 gold off my ship somehow. And I move up 1 on my legend track. So that's one of the easiest ways to move up this legend track, is to beat other players in combat. So when playing with multiple players, a player can attack another player and do the same thing. Whoever has the highest hits wins the fight and will move up the legend track, and the other player gets jostled. You never steal resources or gold from other players in a multiplayer game. So now you'll see I immediately gain 2 gold when I move up to the space on the legend track. Ding! I now have 5. And I now have a base move of 2, which is rather nice. And that is the end of the solo pirate's turn. Play now proceeds back to me, and I have a choice to make. Do I want to go fight? I think I do. Yes, I'm going to fight this merchant right here. So I'm going to move my captain over there. Just going one little step at a time here. And I'm going to fight this merchant. Now, when you fight a merchant, you reference the merchant cards off to the side here. And you'll see we have 1 card for green and 1 card for orange. And this green merchant currently needs 2 hits to equal or 3 hits to defeat. And when you defeat them, you will gain 2 gold. I will roll my 2 dice. I've got 4, 5, and 1 there, so that's 1, 2, 3 hits. That is enough to defeat him. So this merchant card is removed from the game. I gain 2 gold immediately. 1, 2, up there. That is removed. The merchant, I steal their loot. So I now have some sugarcane, which is rather nice because that is currently the most valuable thing on the market. The merchant then respawns, so that merchant ship is now sunk, and a new merchant ship is built and deployed from the opposite port to the one that it was heading to begin with. And we put a new random resource from the baggie onto their ship, and they are now trying to sail that way. So you see we had them starting in the opposite corners, and we've got these little markers here. These are not on the map, so these you go in different opposite corners every time you set up. And those are the home ports of the merchants. We now reveal a new merchant card, and you'll see it is again a 2 and 2. The third one that gets revealed will be a 4, and you'll see it also has this symbol here, which means that when you defeat this merchant, whichever one it happens to land on, you will move up 1 on the legend track. And as you can see, it's quite useful moving up here because you get more movement, you eventually get more dice, you get bonuses as you go. If I move up 1 more space, I'll unlock another crew member that I can use for issuing commands and getting bonuses. I'm probably going to start sailing on my next turn, I promise. And I am done. Solo Pirate will now have a turn. They roll their die, they land on a 5, so now they want to get back to where they currently are. And one specific rule does not apply to the Solo Pirate because they only have 3 of their 4 crew available to them throughout the whole game. But once I unlock this next crew, I would technically have enough to be able to completely circuit my wheel and land on the space I started on. But you can never do that. You can never take the same action twice in a row. So he will now try get as close to the 5 as he can. So he will take this guy out of repair, drop him on that action, and he'll move all the way around to the attack space. And he will sail towards green. He has 1 movement, +1 when he doesn't attack, so he has 2 movement. This green merchant is not having a good day. Oh dear. He will now attack the green merchant. So he rolls 2 dice and he gets a 5 and a 2. That is 1 hit plus 1 from there. He has no one on his bonuses over here, so that is a fail. He does not sink the merchant. And when the solo pirate ties with the merchant, they simply gain 1 gold. Cha-ching! And nothing happens to the merchant. So they just sneak on board their ship, steal a coin, and then run away. You will see that he has circled his wheel and he has crossed this red line. Now, whenever you cross this red line, that in a player's mat, you'll see we've got the anchor here, that's a hideout space. So that's where you can go and hide out in one of these coves and do some repairs, reassign your crew, and all sorts of things. And every time anyone crosses the red line, the merchants will move, as will the navy. Now, we haven't spoken about the navy yet. The navy is represented by this white ship over here, and they are patrolling the waters and making our life difficult, basically. So if ever the navy moves onto your space, you are fully jostled, meaning all your crew goes straight into repair, and you have to immediately go to the nearest cove. So it can be a real nuisance if the navy comes after you. So now, first we move the merchants. Now when the solo pirate crosses the line, I move the merchant and the navy. In a multiplayer game, the player to your left or right, I can't remember, one of your neighbors, moves them for you. And when playing solo, when I cross the red line, there's a specific way in which they'll move. Basically, the merchants will move to get as far away from me as possible while still heading in the direction they want to go. And the navy will always move towards whichever player just crossed the line. So let's show you how all that works. We will now move the orange merchant and they will move 1 space. And I get to choose, so I'll move them over there. And the green merchant will also move. They also move 1 space. I'll just keep them together. They're making themselves a little convoy. And then the navy will move towards him. And we have a little tracker here to remind us how the navy moves. If you have not buried any treasure yet, you're not terribly infamous. The navy only moves 2 spaces. 1, 2. Once you've buried a treasure, you're starting to create a bit of a name for yourself. The navy comes after you a bit faster. 2 treasure, they come after you even faster. And 3 treasure, basically at the end of the game, they can pretty much travel across the entire map to come take you down. So that is the end of the solo pirate's turn. Bring those back and play proceeds back to me. I am going to simply keep going clockwise, click, click, click. I'm just going to do a plunder action. So now I'm going to sail. I've got a base move of 2 plus 1 because I got a guy in rigging, so I can move 3 spaces. So there is not a good place to plunder 3 spaces away, so I'm just going to go 1, 2 because there is a space to plunder here. Anywhere you see the crossed swords as a place to plunder. And I will draw 1 random cube from the bag. And I get a coffee. Okay, I've got a whole range of different goods on board my ship. And I get no bonuses from plundering. So that is the end of my turn. Solo pirate. So as you can see, the turns can really tick along very quickly in this. 3. Okay, he wants to get back to 3, but all his guys are currently assigned. So he will simply move 1 space over. He is going to do a trade action and he's going to sail toward me. He has a base move of 1, so he will sail 1. And basically, unless the navy's coming after you, you can pretty much ignore them. Then you can just sail straight past them, they don't even notice you. Okay, so he's gone over there. He wants to now trade. He has no goods to trade. This is actually going pretty well for me. The solo pirate can sometimes really ramp up this gold track and just completely take you out in a few turns. So it's good to see that I'm having some breathing room to get my loot up. His bonus after trading is to attack. He has no one to attack, so his turn is done. That was quick and easy. Back to me. I am going to now trade. Move my captain 1 space over. Now I'm currently on 7, So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, I want to trade this sugar cane because then I will have enough treasure to go and bury some and show you how that works. So I'm going to sail one space over to there. I am then going to trade. I'm going to trade my sugar cane that is aboard my ship, selling that back to the market for 5 gold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then slide up everything else. So now the gunpowder and coffee I'm carrying have gotten more valuable, which is very good. My bonus when I trade is also to attack, just like the solo pirate, but there is no one to attack. Even if I'd moved to this port to trade sugarcane, there wouldn't have been anyone to attack, so that's unfortunate. It would be nice to get an extra bonus attack action in. But oh well, I now have enough gold to go bury some treasure. So, that is the end of my turn. Solo pirate goes. He rolls a 1, so he's going to land over here. Now, he will always skip over this space. A player has a choice. You may always skip over that space, or you can stop there. And I'll show you how stopping there works shortly. The solo pirate will skip over there, land on this 1. Anytime a player or the solo pirate lands on a space that has a crew assigned to it, they will reassign them back anywhere they want on their map. The solo pirate will always reassign them to the leftmost available space, which you're reminded of on their mat here. They've got a little green arrow going to the left there. So he is then going to land on this plunder action. He is going to sail towards me, and he has a base move of 1. 1 space. He will then plunder, and anytime he plunders, regardless of where he is on the map, he will simply grab 1 cube from the bag. So again, just like the trade-in, he doesn't have to be on a space that gives him a plunder action, he just does it anyway. And that is the end of their turn. I think, no, wait, it is not at the end of their plunder action. I often forget these little bonuses. He gets 2 gold, 1, 2. So he's slowly creeping up. As soon as he gets to 12, he automatically buries his treasure on the nearest map tile that he can. Okay, so now I have a choice to make. I could, if I wanted to, sail over to here. I would sail into a storm and get jostled. And then I could bury this treasure, because I now have 12 gold. But if I do that, I will then have buried 1 treasure, which means the navy will move 3 spaces towards me, and I will have just crossed the red line. So I don't want to do that, because if they come after me, I get fully jostled and all kinds of bad stuff happens. So I am going to rather hide out, as much as I'm tempted to go exploring right away. And I'm just going to go hide in a cove somewhere. Let's go hide. I can move 3 spaces because I've got 2 there plus 1 there. I'm going to come down and hide in this cove, because then on a subsequent turn later, I can sail in here or here and bury my treasure next turn. So now, when you hide out, you simply put your ship in the cove space. So any other time you must place your ship outside of the cove to show that that is available. In this instance, I am going there, which means another player cannot. And I may now rearrange my crew if I wish. I think for right now, I'm just going to leave them as they are. I'm pretty happy with this balance of goods, which means at the end of this action, I will extort and gain 1 gold. Now I have crossed the red line, so the solo pirate will move the merchants. And they will move them away from me. So let's move this one first. They first move orange. And then they preferably want to move them away from where I am. But they will never move them into a space with another merchant. So in this instance, this green merchant will sail over here, even though it's coming to a space where I am. Then the navy will move. They'll move vertical until they're in line with me, and then 1 more space, because I haven't buried my first chest just yet, so they still only move 2 spaces. Had they moved 3 spaces and landed here, because I'm in the cove, they don't find me. So I am safe. They sail around and they think, I'm sure I saw a sail go in there somewhere, but nope, can't find it. And that's the end of my turn. Back to the solo pirate. Boom, boom, boom. He gets a 4. So he will skip, skip, and land there. And I don't know if I've been doing this correctly. I don't think I have. When he skips over spaces, they're supposed to come back onto his mat. Okay, I don't think I've been doing that. Oopsie. Maybe that's why he's been so easy. Well. Okay, so he's gone over to the 4 space. He now wants to attack, and he wants to attack the green merchant. He has a base move of 1, +1 when he's on the attack action, +1 from his rigging, so he's got a move of 3. He will move vertical 1, 2, 3. So he can't quite get there, and that is all he does. Because his bonus action on attack is just giving him bonuses for attacking. Okay, now it's my turn, and now I'm going to go bury treasure. So I'm going to put my captain on my explore space. First, I must move. I am going to go to a space that I can bury a 12, and let's see, I've got 3 movements. I'm going to go all the way up here. 1, 2, 3, so I'm nice and far away from this nonsense. I will get jostled when I enter there, so that's fine. I don't mind jostling him because when he's an extort, he doesn't do anything as far as extra movement or cannons or anything. His bonus only applies when you're in the hideout space. Then I am going to explore this location, flip over that, and oh joy, I gain 2 gold, but my coffers are full. Oh well, it falls into the ocean, glug glug glug. That's unfortunate. Then I will do my bonus of bury treasure. I will spend 12 gold, so I'm back down to 1. I will take one of my chests and I will drop it on that space. And then as a final bonus, Captain Vera Lock allows me to plunder whenever I take an explore action. So I will draw 2 cubes from the bag and I will pick what I want to keep of the 2 plus the ones I've already got. I will keep the gunpowder and I will throw the sugar overboard. And I think I'm going to wrap it up there. That gives you a pretty good idea of how Tiny Epic Pirates plays. There's a couple elements that I haven't yet shown you, and they involve these tokens over here. So these are called surefire tokens. And what these do is anytime you lose a fight. So when the solo pirates attacked me earlier, if I had lost the fight, I would have gained one of these surefire tokens, which I would then put on my mat. And you have space for 3 of them. And then in a future combat, you can discard a surefire token to set 1 die to any value. So for instance, I could discard this, and if I rolled, let's say I rolled a 1, I could discard this surefire token and set that 1 to a 2, which would then give me 2 hits based on the crew I have. And what else have we not seen? I've shown you the merchants. So the merchants are always in a set stack. We have 2s, then 4s, then 6s, then 8s. And as you can see, they get harder to sink. So you have to roll higher than 4, higher than 6, or higher than 8. And the gold they give you increases. And they also, as I showed you earlier, allow you to level up on your legend track. So the more merchants you sink, the tougher they get. They get more and more reinforced because they realize these are dangerous waters. And another thing is you haven't seen how this works. So anytime you roll a 6 for the solo pirate, you will trigger off one of these actions. This will move clockwise to the next space, following the little red arrows, and he will simply do whatever this action is. So whenever you roll a 6, he will always sail towards the player's ship. And this action would allow him to attack you with +1 movement and +1 attack. This one, the player simply discards a booty off their ship of the player's choice. This space, he simply plunders twice. He gets 2 random cubes out the bag. And this one, he steals 3 gold from the player. as soon as he gets to 12 gold, he automatically buries it on the nearest map tile that has a available chest space. And the final thing that I can tell you about is the mutiny action, which is a bonus action any player can do during their turn. And that is to take your captain card and flip them to the other side. So you'll see that now he gives you different numbers. So depending on the crew you have, you might want to flip that card over to get a different distribution of hit dice, and you get a different bonus. As soon as you do that during the game, you take your little skull and crossbones hat figure and you flip it over to show this little bloody side to represent that you have mutinied this game, which means you can't do it again. You can only mutiny once per game. And basically that can be a fairly strategic choice later in the game, depending on what crew you've got, what dice you're rolling, and what bonuses you want. Like for instance, this having a plunder action is really useful early in the game because it means you can just get loads of goods. If you're later in the game, it might be more useful to have this attack action once you've built up a stronger crew and you can start taking down some of the bigger merchants. And there you have Tiny Epic Pirates played solo with the notorious Captain Jack solo captain. I hope you enjoyed that, and with that I shall say thank you ever so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the show. And remember to spread the joy of tabletop gaming.